Welcome back to the Relius Reviews. Today's review is focused on 2021 Netflix movie entitled The Whole Truth. And the official synopsis of The Whole Truth is: when two siblings stumble on a strange hole in the wall of their grandparents' house, horrifying incidents reveal sinister secrets about their family. And before I give up my review, please like and subscribe and comment and tell me what I should review next. And when it comes with The Whole Truth, one word how I would describe this movie is exhausting. I would say maybe some of the only good things that I enjoyed about this movie would probably have to be maybe the characters of this movie. I felt like the actors, the actresses in this movie, they did a good job with how they portrayed their characters. There really wasn't anyone that you would root for in this movie, as they were either not really interesting or they were just horrible people. The acting, for the most part, when it came with this movie, I felt like the acting was decent enough when it came with it, and how the characters portrayed their roles and everything else. The story itself, I felt like the story was a little bit all over the place. At first, it started off pretty solid. Like, you got like a good understanding of like what's going to happen with the story within like the first act. But I felt like after the first act, it started to like drag itself out until some of like the last acts of the movie. And there was definitely a few different plot twists in this movie that I didn't see coming, which was really good. But I felt like this movie at the same time had a little bit of too many plot twists as well. Like, some of them were necessary, some of them were good, but at the same time, there were others that was just not really needed, to say the least. And this movie, it definitely did have quite a few different horror elements. It really wasn't anything that extremely scary, but probably disgusting, as some scenes definitely did leave me feeling queasy, like, just like that. And horror, for the most part, it was just okay. I would say maybe the first things that I did not like about this movie was that this movie was far too long than necessary. This movie is over 2 hours long. I felt like this movie would have been better at like maybe 90 to 100 minutes. Like, there was some things about this movie that definitely could have been cut out. And I would say another thing that I did not like about this movie was that they were trying to do a little bit too much at once with too many different plot elements, too many different story arcs. Like, there was one certain story arc in this movie that really did not need to happen. Like, some story arcs and elements was not really necessary. And I just felt like the movie just dragged on to the point. Like, it just dragged on just to fill in its extra minutes and everything else. I would say that this movie, it wasn't extremely awful. It could have been something better than what it was, but it just dragged out to the point. It did have a few good plot twists, but at the same time, it had a lot of just unnecessary things that really was not needed for this movie. And is it like a horror movie that people should see? Honestly, if you want to waste 2 hours of your life, then go ahead. Like, this movie, it's really nothing that special. The production value of this movie, I would say, is pretty good. That's all. And how I would rate The Whole Truth out of 5 stars, I would probably give The Whole Truth maybe 2 stars out of 5. So I would say thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.